that would put the lives of those informants and possibly other people at risk. So that's one category that we need to address in camera, because it really does pose a risk to life. And then there is another category which relates to ongoing investigations into specific offences committed by organised crime groups. And offences in respect of which there are ongoing investigations, but the suspects have not yet been arrested. And if we were to disclose that information, we might well either prejudice the investigations or possibly signal to the suspects that they are under investigation and that there is evidence against them, and essentially invite them to abscond. So those are the two categories that we have identified that we would like to lead in camera. And in the absence of any opposition to the in-camera application, I would ask that we are granted leave to lead that evidence in camera. We were planning to do so tomorrow, but that can be addressed later after Mr. Valley has certain concerns in relation to tomorrow, which he would, I think, like to put to the Commission. We would want to respond to that. But for now, we would ask for an order that those categories of evidence be permitted to be led in camera.
Thank you, Mr. Chaskalson. Mr. Valley, before you state the concerns that Mr. Chaskalson has referred to, I assume that there's no opposition to the application itself.
Indeed, Chair, and it's not because there's an intention to not oppose. It is simply because we are unable to extract instructions at this stage from our client. Now, if I may, while I've got the mic, address the concerns. The irony is not lost on me that we brought an in-camera application for the very reasons on which my learned friend Mr. Chaskalson relies. And we've gone through their 5-page notice of motion and founding affidavit, and we now learn from his address to you what the actual concerns are. And it is concerns which we shared, but we had additional grounds as well. So if one now relies on the residual powers vested in me based on my previous instructions from General Khan prior to him becoming injured and unavailable, in principle, we don't have an objection had we had instructions to the matter proceeding in camera. There's a lot more that we would like to say in any event, but now this creates a procedural quagmire. I understand from Mr. Chaskalson that there's an intention to continue tomorrow. However, if I draw your attention to the 10-6 notice, this matter was set down for 4 days. It was last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today being Monday. So we didn't make any further days available for the continuation of the evidence. We will try, and in fact, attempts are underway for us to try to identify a date where we might be available, particularly for the in-camera, because it may not necessarily be available publicly, the record, or how matters would proceed. Ideally, we'd want someone here. Now, had we been made aware at the earliest time that there was an in-camera application that was intended to be brought, or perhaps our in-camera application had succeeded for different reasons, but coming to the same relief, we could have made those arrangements earlier. So tomorrow is probably a no-show, and I don't know what time we have left. I'm happy to sit here until the early hours of tomorrow morning if needs be, to try to traverse as much ground as we can, because we're not here to frustrate the Commission's endeavor or that of my learned friend. It just places us in a procedural quagmire. Now, the way we see it is that there's one of 3 ways in which we can proceed. Either General Khan's health does not permit him to come at all or to tender a statement, or the more likely is that General Khan may based on what has already transpired in these proceedings, commit to an affidavit from his hospital bed or from another place of convenience. Or the ideal scenario is that his health permits him to actually attend, and then we can make up for the time that he wasn't here. I can't make any predictions on which of those three is likely, but my colors are pinned to the mast of an affidavit at the minimum, so that at least there's evidence before this commission which answers many things that we know the answers to, and things that we don't know from which we can get instructions from General Khan. For purposes of achieving that eventuality, it's important that we are given a line in the sand to say, well, this is the evidence, or this is the documentary evidence on which we expect answers, and ideally, these are the pro forma questions that we would like you to focus on. Now we have certainty, and hopefully we can plan something for the near future before the Commission's function comes to an end. So, in as much as I've said what I've said, I don't know the answers, and I would be looking to the Commission for guidance. And at the same time, still record our reservations about the matter proceeding in the absence of General Khan. I know I've raised it before, I know you've made a ruling, but now given these new circumstances, I have to revive the objection. So that's where we are, Chair. The most difficult of circumstances that any legal practitioner can face in these circumstances.
You don't even have a PA, professional assistant, that could be in attendance tomorrow.
What we're trying to do is to make arrangements that somebody can attend to the various matters. In fact, I'll give you an example. I was briefed in a matter for the urgent court in Pretoria. I've contacted my professional assistant in an effort to try to ask that the presiding officer consider rolling the matter over to later in the week when I can attend. But we don't have answers just yet, so we're not entirely sure. If the matter is to proceed tomorrow and we are not here, we ask we ask to be excused, number one. And number two, we'll make arrangements with Mr. Cheskelson for whatever record we might be able to procure. If in the off chance, Lady Luck smiling upon us, we are available, then that sorts out the dilemma. Perhaps Mr. Cheskelson can give us an indication of how long his address is intended, and we can try to make ourselves available. If not, that we attend on time at 9:30 when the commission starts, perhaps later in the day as well, if there's any other business that they may suitably interpose or deal with while waiting for us. And I certainly don't want to keep the commission waiting, so I'm trying my level best this afternoon to make those arrangements.
Thank you. Part of the takeaway for me is that you are saying if push comes to a shove, you will be asking to be excused.
Indeed, to the extent that it may be required. I mean, we are here, as I previously explained, on those conditions.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Valley.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Mr. Shastas.
Chair, I think that Mr. Valley and I should stay in touch over the evening and early tomorrow morning. There are really two ways that we can do this. We will have, I still have a couple of hours at least of open session address to go through. That will be addressed in public with a full recording, and if Mr. Valley is unavailable at a particular time tomorrow, we can schedule around that time so that the open address is done at that time. The in-camera session, my sense, is probably 3 hours in total, and we would prefer Mr. Valley to be there in person, or a representative to be there in person, but we will ensure that it is transcribed and recorded. And given that we're dealing with a situation where there is no witness who needs to be protected or advised, live in the moment. We submit that, although it's not ideal, if Mr. Valley gets a full transcript and recording, and he has all of the documents to which reference are going to be made, he will still be able to advise General Khan in advance of any affidavit that General Khan is going to prepare, or indeed any appearance that General Khan is going to make if he recovers, as we certainly hope he does, speedily enough to appear before this commission. So we would ask for the in-camera order to be granted. We undertake that we will coordinate with Mr. Valley so that to the extent possible tomorrow, that session will be held at a time convenient, I want to say convenient, less inconvenient to Mr. Valley. And we will certainly make available a transcript and a recording of that session to Mr. Valley. And that then, and he will have ample time to consider it before we demand any statement from General Khan.
Thank you, Mr. Shaskalson. Is granted. That's the ruling. But for a fuller expression of what exactly the ruling entails, I'm asking for a draft order. This is similar to, I think, what we did with witness K, if I'm not mistaken, because sitting here I will not be able to delineate everything. And also there's that about a list of persons and so on. So all of that will require a draft order. And for purposes of publication and the interest of everybody, the order, once granted after receipt of the draft order, will be posted in the Commission's website, and will also be circulated to the media. And of course, it will be sent to the attorneys. Thank you very much. We heard you, Mr. Valley, but as much as one would have loved to have you here tomorrow, We take comfort in the fact that you did say that if push comes to shove, you will ask to be excused. My view is for us to continue. You will be furnished with a copy of the transcript if you do not attend, if you are unable to attend, and if you are not able to even send a professional assistant. You will get a copy of the full transcript, and the copy that you get will not be redacted. What will be redacted will be what goes out to the public. And you are free. And indeed, if General Khan is in a position to give instructions, he too is free through you to give instructions as to what should be done with the content of the transcript. Thank you.
As it pleases you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, we have 15 minutes left. I'm in the hands of the commissioners. I could certainly start a subtopic. I'm unlikely to finish any discrete topic.
Let's go on until 4:30.
Thank you, Chair. For the purposes of this presentation, I'm not going to try to direct you in and out of a core bundle, because the core bundle was not drawn up with this presentation in mind. So we will flight the relevant passages, and we'll flight them also to your laptops. There are some details where we won't be able to